You left this morning, your dog watched you go, not the door closing behind you. You, specifically you, and researchers have now documented precisely what happened inside your dog's brain in the minutes after you disappeared. It was not calm. It was not indifferent. It was not the simple absence of stimulation that most people assumed it was. Something specific activated, something measurable and documented and real, something that looks uncomfortably similar to what activates in your brain when you miss someone you love. The question most people ask is simple. Does my dog miss me when I leave? The answer that science has arrived at is not simple at all. It is considerably more complicated, considerably more interesting, and considerably more uncomfortable than most pet owners are prepared for. Because the answer depends entirely on what you mean by the word miss. In 2015, researcher Therese Rehn at Uppsala University in Sweden conducted one of the first studies to directly measure dog behavior after owner separation in controlled conditions. She placed dogs in an environment and had their owners leave. She measured cortisol levels, she measured heart rate, she measured behavioral indicators of stress. The results were immediate and clear. Cortisol levels rose within minutes, heart rate elevated measurably, behavioral stress indicators appeared consistently. The dogs were not simply waiting. They were experiencing something physiologically, something their bodies registered as significant, as the absence of something necessary. She then varied the length of separation. 30 minutes, 2 hours, 4 hours. The behavioral response on reunion was significantly stronger after the longer separations. The dogs greeted their owners differently, after 4 hours than after 30 minutes, more intense, more sustained, more physical. The duration of absence produced a measurably stronger reunion response. Time apart was being tracked somehow. How a dog tracks the passage of time without any concept of time is one of the most fascinating questions in animal cognition research today. Researcher Alexandra Horowitz at Barnard College, Columbia University, proposed a specific mechanism. Dogs do not track time with clocks. They track it with scent. When you leave your home, your scent remains present everywhere. On your furniture, on your clothes, on every surface you regularly touch. That scent begins to fade immediately, gradually, consistently, predictably. As the hours pass, the scent diminishes, and the dog tracks that diminishment. When the scent is strong, you are close. When the scent is faint, you have been gone long. The dog's reunion response scales, not with the passage of clock time, but with the degree of scent fading. A more faded scent produces a stronger greeting, because more faded scent means you have been further away, for longer than the dog finds comfortable or safe. You are tracked even when absent. But scent tracking is still not the same as missing someone in the way humans mean it. Missing involves something more specific. It involves mental representation, the ability to hold a model of the absent person in mind, to think about them while they are gone. Not just to notice their absence, but to represent their presence mentally. In 2016, researcher Juliane Kaminski at the University of Portsmouth in England published research on dog mental representation. She found that dogs maintain a cognitive model of their owners, a mental representation that persists even when the owner is not present. Dogs trained to retrieve specific objects by name could still retrieve the correct object when it was hidden from their sight. They searched for the mentally represented object, not just reacting to what was visible, working from an internal model of something that was not currently there. If a dog can maintain a mental model of a hidden object, it can maintain a mental model of a hidden person, of you while you are gone. The neurological evidence is more direct. In 2014, researcher Gregory Berns at Emory University in Atlanta trained dogs to lie still inside MRI machines voluntarily, without sedation, without restraint. He then exposed them to different scents while measuring brain activity in real time. The scent of a familiar human produced activation in the caudate nucleus, a brain region associated with positive anticipation, with expecting something rewarding to happen. The scent of the owner produced stronger caudate activation than the scent of any other human or any other scent at all, including food. The owner's scent produced stronger brain activation than the scent of food in a dog, the animal we associate entirely with food motivation. The owner was neurologically more significant than the most powerful motivator. In the dog's behavioral repertoire, that is not indifference. That is not a simple habit. That is something that looks very much like what attachment feels like from the inside. To understand why this level of attachment exists, you have to understand what dogs actually are, not domesticated wolves that tolerate humans. Something more specific than that. Something more unusual than that. Brian Hare at Duke University spent years studying canine cognition. His research documented something fundamental. Dogs are the only non-human species that spontaneously looks to humans for information, not trained to do it, not rewarded for doing it. Spontaneously, naturally, as a default behavior. When a dog encounters a problem it cannot solve, it looks at a human. A wolf raised by humans from birth does not do this. A chimpanzee does not do this. Only dogs, because 15,000 years of living beside humans did not just change dog behavior, it changed dog cognition. The dog brain rewired itself to treat humans as the primary source of information about the world. Humans became cognitively central to how dogs understand reality, which means when you leave, the dog is not just missing a companion, it is missing its primary reference point. The thing it uses to orient itself in relation to everything else. The source of information about what is safe, what is threatening, what is worth paying attention to, what the world currently means. You are not a person the dog is attached to. You are the framework the dog uses to understand the world at all. Remove that framework and the world becomes less legible, less navigable, less certain. The cortisol rise that Rehn documented is not grief in the human sense. It is the physiological response to operating without the primary navigation system, to being in an environment that is suddenly harder to read, to waiting for the thing that makes the world make sense to come back, and not knowing when it will or if it will every single time you leave. The dog does not know you're coming back. It never knows you're coming back. Not in the way you know, not with the understanding that absence is temporary, not with the certainty that the door will open again. Every departure could be permanent. Every goodbye could be the last one, and the dog waits anyway. Researcher Ádám Miklósi at VOSS University in Budapest spent decades studying the attachment bond between dogs and their owners. He found that the dog-owner bond is neurologically and behaviorally identical to the bond between a human infant and their primary caregiver, the same attachment behaviors, the same separation distress patterns, the same reunion responses, the same use of the attachment figure as a safe base from which to explore. The same collapse of confident exploration. When the attachment figure is removed, the dog is not behaving like a pet. It is behaving like a child that never develops past the stage of needing its caregiver present to feel safe in the world, a permanent infant waiting for the parent that left.